Hello, I'm Jeannette Ceja, a travel journalist, TV host, travel advisor based in California. It's my honor to be the moderator for this panel, Post-COVID Transformation from Destination Management to Destination Marketing. Our amazing lineup of panelists will include Patrick Torrent, Dorji Dhradhul, Karen Bolinger, Chairperson Kimarli Fernando, and Flavia Santoro Trujillo. I am so excited to be joined by Dorji Dhradhul from Bhutan. Thank you so much, Dorji, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Jeannette. Thank you.
So great for you to be here. I'm honored to have this chance to ask you some questions. And the first question will be, since the pandemic started in March, how have you been doing and how is everything in Bhutan?
Tourism in Bhutan is very important. Is one of the biggest employer, and also in terms of revenue, it is also one of the highest. Now, with no tourists, so like anywhere else, we are also severely hit economically. But at the broader level, I would say Bhutan so far since March, we have been doing quite okay. In fact, I would say faring quite well. Now, this is because, especially in terms of COVID, as of today, we have a very limited cases of COVID, and also these are all imported. And we have no community spread as such, and we have no loss of life so far to date. And I must point out that this is clear result of the effective nationwide effort led by His Majesty, the King, and embraced by all Bhutanese. And Our Majesty has played a very significant role of what we are today. Even in this COVID situation, because he has been touring, going all over the places. He has been at the forefront, visiting all nooks and corners of our country, meeting our people, checking with them. Accordingly, we have been also have so many other interventions like fiscal, monetary, even welfare scheme, economic stimulus program. So even those people who have been laid off, they are being gainfully engaged. So yes, overall, I think we have been doing so far doing quite okay. But then having said this, like the rest of the world, we are also severely impacted with this COVID.
Wow. And as we're getting closer to 2021, we're just a month and a half away. What have been some of the challenges or opportunities that you have experienced with Bhutan as a destination throughout the pandemic?
Yeah, so coming very specifically to tourism, yes, the challenges are quite similar, with other countries. Now, especially for Bhutan, while as I've said earlier, COVID situation, we are doing very well. But then opening up tourists to tourism would very much depend not only in our country, it would also depend on the situation elsewhere, our source market. And also for Bhutan is a bit challenging because we are kind of a landlocked country, and we have a very limited access from outside to enter our country. And as of now, people can come to a country through India, through Thailand, Bangkok, Bangladesh, and Nepal, and Singapore. So these are, just few limited access that they can come. And therefore, even if you want to open up, it would depend on those countries, they access. So that is one of the challenge, because we don't really have a direct access flight connection with other destination or other countries. I would say, that is one. And then secondly, of course, the COVID situation itself. Now, even if you have this access because of the COVID, I think the travelers themselves are also being very careful. They really want to choose, and make sure that when they visit a country, it is perfectly safe to travel. So we feel more than our own challenges, it is the challenges that is being beyond our control, especially when it comes to tourism. So as of now, of course, so since March, we have not yet had any tourists. We are still zero tourists here as of now. But officially, since September, we have kind of open up in the sense that, but then with a very strict quarantine requirement. In Bhutan, maybe there are some other countries, but as far as I know, Bhutan is the only country that actually mandates 21 days quarantine for any incoming people, whether it is a Bhutanese or foreigners. So they have to stay in a mandatory 21 days quarantine in a government designated space, and which, I mean, is a very strict and very difficult, maybe even for international travelers to abide by.
Wow. So
So
21
yes,
days quarantine?
pardon?
21 days quarantine, you said?
Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Okay. And what have been some of the opportunities during this time that
So
you have
yes,
experienced?
so more than the challenges, we take this as an opportunity now, especially in tourism, because for Bhutan, tourism has been somehow very unique actually, and but despite that, we feel that there are many rooms for improvement. So just now we have this quiet period wherein we are trying to relook at our services, our infrastructure, our product to tourists. So basically, and our capacity building, improves the services standards with people. So basically, this is the time that we are really taking the opportunity. We are engaging those people who have been laid off in tourism without, because of no tourists. So they are getting engaged. We are trying to improve our service infrastructure. So we feel that when we reopen now, we are hoping maybe by March, at least things might come to a normal, the COVID situation. So when tourism reopens, we are hoping, confident that the services, the experiences that we provide to the tourists will be much better than pre-COVID. So this is we feel that otherwise, if it was a business as usual, then we wouldn't have got this time to relook at our services and infrastructures. Yes.
Right. And what has been the new norm, or how have you changed the marketing for Bhutan during this time?
Yes, Janet, this is a very important, interesting question, because now we know uh, all over the world, globally in tourism sector, especially, they're talking about new normal. Now, the way tourism is going to operate post-COVID is going to be different. So some of the new elements that we talk about in this new normal is, it is going to be, there will be more people, I mean, people would prefer to travel more as an individual in a smaller group. That is one. Second is, the mass tourism is now going out. They're going for I mean, something not with the mass tourism. So it will be a fewer group, fewer tourists. And then also the safety protocols is going to be very important. Yeah, the health and personal well-being. And so, but for Bhutan, what we are saying is, and I have said this earlier also in some media, for Bhutan, what currently the world is saying the new normal, we have been doing this for last 50 years. So for us, it's not a new normal. For us, the new normal is what we have been doing for last 50 years. For instance, for last 50 years, with the start of tourism, our fourth king, who was at the helm at that time, he decided that tourism policy will be what is today popularly known as high value, low volume. So that has been our tourism policy, high value, low volume. Now this high value, low volume tourism basically avoids mass tourism. In other words, it was mass tourism. And in fact, in early 70s, that was in early 70s, 1970s, when he had to make this decision, it was had to make this decision under a lot of pressure, because there were many advisor, or I mean peer pressure from other countries also, that if you open up tourism, I mean the money that you can make from totally opening up tourism would be much more and much more faster. But so, I mean, interesting, so, I mean, visionary with our majesty, that then 50 years ago, he said, maybe in the future, that is not going to work. So therefore, it is going to be the high value, low volume. So against all this pressure, that policy was adopted. So now today, after 50 years, what we have as a tourism is, we already have a brand actually. Now brand Bhutan tourism is high value, low volume. Our tourist arrival is very much kind of monitored. It is totally based on carrying capacity of our resources, services, and also the anyway, the mass tourism was never any situation in our country. So therefore, what we're seeing is the new normal. Bhutan, in our case, we don't have to change much. Maybe we just need to reinforce that, and we'll be basically doing the same thing with some reinforcement. Well, the rest of the world, I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be challenged, but I believe that the rest of the world will be going to a new normal, and which is the old normal of Bhutan. I mean, so therefore, restart of tourism, all other things remaining constant, it will be much easier for Bhutan to restart, and it can be even faster also.
Amazing. Thank you, Dorji. And what about the hopes and looking forward to the future in a post-COVID world for Bhutan? What are you looking forward to?
Yeah, so one is definitely, as I've said earlier, we want to further reinforce our brand tourism, which is high value, low volume. We want to even make it even more now because of this COVID experience, make it even reinforce this high value, low volume tourism in both in policy and in practice. And secondly, we are also looking forward now, encouraged by this COVID. We feel that the new tourism will be again revolving around this wellness and well-being, the personal safety, health safety of the traveler. So therefore, we feel Bhutan has this unique opportunity to offer a new product, or brand ourselves as an exclusive destination for wellness and well-being. Now, traditionally and historically also, Bhutan in our region, our country used to be known as a land of medicinal herbs. By naturally, we have so many herbs, raw materials growing in our mountains and fields. And those days, I think we used to be known as the land of medicinal herbs. So therefore, and also we have this long practice of traditional medicine. And of course, the spiritualism is also very, significantly being practiced here. And also the landscape-wise, also things are very sort of almost like a tailor-made for meditation. I mean, you go wherever in Bhutan, it is almost like a perfect place for a meditation. I mean, quiet, serene. And so therefore, while so far post-COVID, pre-COVID, we have not been able to take advantage of that. It was more of a cultural tour, more of a trekking kind of thing. But we have not been branding ourselves or promoting ourselves as a destination for wellness and well-being. So therefore, post-COVID, we feel that we are already working on it, in fact. So we feel that Bhutan could be that new destination for wellness and well-being, and which could be the thing, even globally also. So we feel that that is one goal or an opportunity that we see post-COVID.
So inspiring. Well, I definitely want to go to Bhutan one day.
Yes, please.
It is on my bucket list. And for any travelers who have not been to Bhutan yet and are thinking about it, for example, in a post-COVID time, why should they go to Bhutan? Why should we go to visit Bhutan in the future?
Oh, yes, thank you. So Bhutan, now, especially for new travelers, I would say, if you want to experience this new normal, in a old way, I mean, you can come to Bhutan. We have been practicing this new normal for last 50 years. And also our tagline in tourism is happiness is a place. I'm sure, Jeannette, you must be knowing about this gross national happiness. Our country has this development philosophy called gross national happiness, which is a bit different from the gross domestic product kind of development model. And our tourism policy of high value, low volume is very much guided by this gross national happiness development philosophy. And therefore, our tourism tagline is happiness is a place. And now happiness is a place. So I like to, invite or offer this to the new travelers that if you want to, maybe you want to try Bhutan as that place or for happiness. We are not saying happiness is a place that it has to be Bhutan. We are saying Bhutan could be one of this option. You can come and try in Bhutan and look for happiness. And as I said earlier, we feel that at least as a Bhutanese, and also we have been told by our tourists, who have been here, they are confirming it that indeed, the moment that you land in Bhutan, as you step out of the plane, as you start breathing our air, you will totally feel different. I mean, some kind of a inspiration, some kind of a rejuvenation, some kind of a spiritual awakening, it happens. So therefore, any travelers that are actually looking for physical, mental rejuvenation, spiritual awakening, I would say Bhutan could be that place. I mean, you can try Bhutan.
So great. Well, thank you so much, Dorji, for sharing your time and everything about Bhutan. We're so excited and grateful. And yes, looking forward to that time, post-COVID time. Thank you. It's an honor to have you here. Patrick Torrent is joining us from Spain, and he's on behalf of the Catalan Tourism Board. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Jeannette. Thank you for inviting us here.
Of course. Now tell us, Patrick, for all of us on the West Coast or who are not currently in Spain, what is the current situation?
Yes, here the current situation is we are now just reopening our activity. In fact, we are in a kind of lockdown. Last week, for example, last Friday, we were locking down all our activities in terms of tourism. Now we are reopening a little bit, reopening the activities, reopening the borders, the internal borders first, and we expect to reopen the external borders from the European Union soon. But at this moment, we are trying to receive a new normality in terms of tourism activity, but slowly. In fact, we expect to have some movement in Christmas time. Our industry is working in order to have a good activity in Christmas time, but we are really conscious about the situation, and our first priority is to ensure the security of our visitors.
Right. And what have been some of the opportunities during this time that you guys have found in tourism over there?
Yes, this moment is a particular moment, especially good for rethink the activity for tourism, for the rethink our model. In fact, from not only from the Catalan Tourism Board, but from Nextur. Nextur is the European network of regions for a competitive and sustainable tourism that we have the honor to host the presidency from Catalonia. We are having often some reflections about the next role of the DMOs and the tourism authorities in our destinations in Europe. In these reflections with our 34 members, we are obviously having the same point of view that we need to go to the recovery through the transformation of the activity, through the transformation of the tourism model that we wish to have in Europe as in tourism. It's for this reason that this activity was showed to the European Commission, and our main concerns in this time were shared with the European Commission. And with the European Commission, we agree that we need to transform this tourism through these two axes, that is innovation, technology, and sustainability. And then the European Recovery Plan and the Next Generation EU funds will be focused on that. It's for the reason that we in the different regions and different destinations in Europe are focusing our projects in these two guidelines.
Wow, very good, very impressive. And moving on, we're almost to 2021. We're just a month and a half away. 2021 and in the post-COVID times, where do you see Catalan tourism, for example? Where do you see the future in a post-COVID world?
Yes, we're working in two scenarios. Obviously, we think that the two first quarters of this 2021 will be not so different than now, for example, with restrictions in mobility, but with a slow reopening of the activity for the next month. But the second part of the year, the two last quarters of the year, we expect to have the recovery activity, a full recovery activity in order to provide a good 2022 and 2022. We are convinced that 2021 will be a transformation, transition year that will help us to reinforce our position in these projects, to transform our activity, to go to the recovery. And it's for the reason that we are planning this 2021 in these two parts. One for managing the emergency, and the other one for managing the recovery. In the first part, managing the emergency is more tactical. The other one is more strategical. And in terms of activity as a DMO, in terms of marketing, we need to change our messages. If in the past we were focused in I don't know, in show our diversity as a destination and the main assets we have as a destination, now it's time to talk about security, about safety, about how our destination is ready to receive our tourism, our main markets in Catalonia, and we are obviously ready for that because our industry is developing a lot of activities and investments in order to ensure the security of our visitors.
That's so great, Patrick. And what would you tell travelers who are maybe far away right now, but one day want to visit Spain, for example? What would be your message to them, maybe for the future? Why should they keep your destination in mind?
Be confident. Be confident with Catalonia. Be confident with Barcelona. Be confident with Spain, because here our industry is involved in ensure the security of our visitors. Everybody is really conscious about the situation. We are taking it seriously, and if we are one of the three main destinations in tourism in Europe, Catalonia with Paris, Ile-de-France, and Canary Islands are one of the three main destinations in international arrivals in Catalonia. Obviously is an important part of our economy, is an important part of our activity, and our main priority is to ensure that our visitors will be safer and will be obviously in the best situations, in the best conditions, in order to enjoy a good experience in our destinations. Then take care now, and when we will have the opportunity to visit Catalonia, don't be afraid, because our destinations are ready to receive you.
Amazing. Thank you, Patrick. And where can we find out more about your destination, and how can we keep following along the way?
In our destination, we are now working especially in one particular element that is important for our identity as a destination, that is culture. Catalonia is one of the main destinations in terms of culture in Europe, but for this particular year, for this 2021, we are ready to show what is Catalonia as a sports tourism destination. It's for this reason that we will celebrate in October the World Sports Tourism Congress, in order to have reflections about how sports could be a fantastic asset in order to position a destination like Catalonia or Barcelona in the top of mind of people that would enjoy sports in abroad. And in this case, Catalonia as a host of one of the Olympics '92. From that, they develop a good activity in having option to receive teams and to receive professionals, but obviously amateur people to enjoy sports in Catalonia.
Amazing. And who's your favorite team? Last question.
Obviously, in terms of football, FC Barcelona obviously is. I'm fan of FC Barcelona, and but we are not living the best moment now, no, because we are not winning. We were habituated to win everything, but now we need to wait for better moments.
Right. And I definitely think that seeing a football game in Barcelona or Spain is a must do when you go to the country. Absolutely. Beautiful.
Is one of the main icons we have, and obviously a visit in Barcelona deserves a visit to the Nou Camp, the stadium of FC Barcelona, and the Barça experience. That is one of the elements that we are promoting abroad, because it's a fantastic option in order to live the atmosphere of what is Barça and FC Barcelona here.
Absolutely. I think sports has a beautiful way to unite people and get them excited again. So we'll definitely stay posted with you, Patrick, and everything going on with you. So thank you so much. We look forward to
Thank you.
staying in touch. All right. Thank you so much, Ms. Chairperson Kimarli Fernando, who is joining us live from Sri Lanka. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. Nice to be on this program.
So tell us, since the pandemic began in March, how has everything been for you and in Sri Lanka?
For Sri Lanka, like most other countries who are focused on tourism, of course, the impact has been devastating. However, very early on, just before we even got the first patient, COVID patient, in March, we already had quarantine centers, a COVID task force set up, a protocol of contact tracing, all that in place. So to that extent, we were well prepared. But from an industry perspective, it has been devastating. And what we did very early on is that after we got over the first wave, we actually set up a COVID task force involving our tourism, and then when we recovered, we allowed hotels to open for domestic tourism immediately, like pretty soon after, when the numbers came down, and moved into quarantine hotels as well. So that gave the industry some opportunity to earn, maybe 20-30% of their normal income, as it were. We also found opportunities in the seafarers, where we found that there were ships which the crew which required hotels, and lots of countries were not sort of accommodating them. So we kind of used that also as an opportunity to give some business, if you like, for hotels.
Wow. And as we get closer to 2021, we're just a month and a half away. What have been some of the challenges or opportunities throughout the pandemic that you've experienced in Sri Lanka?
This problem came to all of us. Nobody was planned for it, and no one has experienced. But we use this opportunity to represent. We are using this opportunity to reset and represent Sri Lanka, if you like. Because after the war we've had for 30 years, we recovered, finished the war in 2009. Then tourism just happened, it evolved. And I think this is a good opportunity to rebrand, reprofile Sri Lanka. We are also using this opportunity to sort of transform our organizations. We have 4 tourism organizations under the government. So re-engineering processes, looking at things, technology, now everything is automated in terms of registration and so on. So we've used that opportunity internally first to, make ourselves more efficient, if you like. Looking at guidelines which didn't make sense, making things easier. And externally, we are talking and working closely with the industry as how to reposition Sri Lanka as a unique, authentic experience, which we are. And I think it's a great opportunity. Sri Lanka really never went into mass scale tourism, if you like some of the other countries. So the highest we've ever had numbers wise is 2.3 million. Last year was 1.9. So we have never really gone into mass scale tourism. But I think this is a good opportunity to reset our brand and provide what post-COVID tourist is looking for.
Amazing. And what has become the new norm as we talk about destination marketing? What has become the new norm for Sri Lanka? I think you touched a little bit on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the past, what we've done is we've promoted or looked at markets in terms of countries. That has worked in the past, but I think going forward, we have already looking at experience division and looking at segments depending on what they're looking for rather than the nationality. So whether it is hiking or camping or adventure or whatever, we are looking at that. We're also looking at the infrastructure perspective and looking at improving the customer journey, if you like, and the touch points going forward. I think going forward, all countries are going to be much more digital. It's not going to be the old-fashioned advertisements. It's going to be real people saying real stories about your country. I think that's the future. And what we've done recently is a couch safari, which was live streaming of our wildlife, which was really popular in 40, 50 countries globally, several followers. So we had experts discussing wildlife, because that's really strong in Sri Lanka, and we have a lot to offer. So I think that's I think the future for most countries, frankly, going forward, the digital side, the social media, and the experiences.
So great. Wow, you make me want to go to Sri Lanka. It's exciting. So moving forward to a post-COVID time, when that time comes, what is your hopes for the recovery? What does that look like for you in Sri Lanka?
You see, when you got a problem, you immediately react, then you think about it, and then you try to. So what we have reached the stage where now it's already fine. Everything is in order. We've got a guideline that we've made. We've looked at the world's best global best practice. It's implemented already, a health protocol. We have KPMG auditing all the hotels. We have level 1, level 2, and we're planning on implementing that. Opening of the airport. The airport protocol is already made. So we are moving ahead. We have an app already made, a travel app, first time in Sri Lanka, which will have all the details that you would need. So I think going forward, safety is important, and safety we will be doing. But I think from a customer perspective, he would know that we are a safe country, that our wellness, in fact, has helped us tremendously, myself as well. We use our own indigenous medicine, even for COVID so far. And so it's good for your immune system, our food. So I think the post-COVID, we got to be prepared in terms of the clients. What is mainly concerned? Safety. He's concerned about changing guidelines, I think, and what's going to happen. He's also worried about the costs involved in PCR tests and whatever. So the health protocol and the airport opening protocol are very clear. So the moment the airport is going to be open, we have 5 international airports. I think we would open first 2 of them. So when that decision is made by the health authority, we would inform the global tourists the protocol. So it's very transparent, very simple, easy to understand.
Wow, yes, Sri Lanka is very prepared. It's amazing. And for any travelers, sorry, for any travelers who have yet to visit Sri Lanka, myself included, in a post-COVID time, why should we go there, and what can we look forward to in Sri Lanka?
Absolutely. Sri Lanka is one of the most beautiful islands. It has everything. It's compact. So we have 5 international airports. We have 9 domestic airports. Traveling is easy. There's trains, there's internal flights. It's compact, it's diverse. So you've got the beaches, you can see a whale and dolphin, you can see an elephant, you can see a leopard, go to the tea plantations and have a crab curry all in one day. So
Wow.
it's very authentic. We are still very, very authentic. And I think that what we have to offer, whether it's the wellness, the well-being, the whole angle of that, or whether it's adventure, that is wildlife, which is the water-based adventure, the beaches and the plantations. I mean, in a very compact country, you are going to get everything in a short space. And I think Sri Lanka has everything that Asia has to offer in a very short space, and the weather is generally very good. So we want to welcome you and all of you viewers to visit Sri Lanka soon when we decide to open the airport, which I expect to be soon.
Amazing. Wow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time and everything that you're doing for Sri Lanka, and we're really looking forward to visiting one day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.